Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening.
Tom stepped through the sliding glass doors of Interstellar Communications Corporation, his heart thumping in rhythm with the pulsing lights of the sleek lobby. The building was a marvel of modern architecture, with walls that displayed holographic vistas of distant galaxies. It was his first day, and he was set to meet his new boss, Lyra, a Zilithian from the planet's altar. As he approached the reception, the attendant, a cheerful man named Marcus, greeted him with a broad smile. "You must be Tom. Lyra mentioned you'd be starting today. I'll take you to your office first and then to her." Tom nodded, his eyes taking in the vibrant, alien art that adorned the walls. "Thanks, Marcus. It's a bit overwhelming, but exciting to be here. You'll love it," Marcus assured him as they walked through a corridor lit by soft, ambient light. "Everyone's really welcoming, and you'll be working with some of the best in the field. Plus, meeting a Zilithian in person? Not many can say they've had that honor." Reaching an office with Tom Davidson, linguistics specialist, etched on the door, Marcus gestured inside. "Here we are. Lyra should be ready for you in about 10 minutes. I'll come get you when it's time." "Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate the help," Tom said, setting down his briefcase. Left alone, Tom took a moment to settle in. The office was outfitted with the latest technology, including a terminal that promised real-time communication across the galaxy. Before he could test it out, Marcus returned. "Ready to meet Lyra?" Marcus asked, his expression a mix of enthusiasm and caution. "As I'll ever be," Tom replied, his curiosity piqued about meeting the alien who was a pioneer in interspecies communication. They made their way to Lyra's office, located at the top floor of the building. The door slid open silently to reveal a spacious room with a panoramic view of the bustling city below. Lyra stood by the window, her back to them, her tall figure silhouetted against the skyline. "Tom Davidson, meet Lyra, your new boss," Marcus introduced. Lyra turned around, her eyes bright with a tinge of amber, her skin a smooth, iridescent blue. She extended a hand, her smile revealing a row of perfectly aligned, sharp teeth. "Welcome, Tom. I've been looking forward to having you on our team." Tom took her hand, surprised by the warmth of her grip. "Thank you, Lyra. It's an honor to be here. Please, have a seat." Lyra gestured to a pair of chairs before her desk. As they sat, she continued, "I've read your work on xenolinguistics. Impressive insights. I believe your skills will be invaluable as we embark on new projects aimed at deepening human-alien communications. I'm eager to contribute," Tom said, genuinely excited by the prospect. "I believe effective communication can bridge even the widest of gaps." "Indeed," Lyra nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "Our first project together will involve a new communication protocol with the Atraxians. They're a challenging group, linguistically and culturally." Tom was familiar with the Atraxians, reputed to be as enigmatic as they were reclusive. "I've read about their symbolic language system. It's quite complex." Lyra's smile widened. "Then you're exactly the right person for this. We start tomorrow. I'll introduce you to the team, and we'll discuss our approach in detail." "Looking forward to it," Tom replied, his initial nervousness replaced by a surge of anticipation. He was not just going to work on groundbreaking projects, but was going to do so under the guidance of an inspiring leader from another world. As the meeting concluded, Lyra stood, signaling the end of their discussion. "I believe you will make significant contributions here, Tom. Welcome aboard." "Thank you, Lyra. I won't let you down." Walking back to his office, Tom felt a newfound excitement about his career path. Working with Lyra was going to be challenging, but he knew it would be the opportunity of a lifetime. Tom arrived early at the office the next day, fueled by a mix of excitement and a dash of nerves. He spent the morning familiarizing himself with the terminal in his office and reviewing notes on Atraxian culture and language. As he absorbed the intricate details of their symbolic language system, he began to feel a genuine admiration for the complexity and depth of alien communications. As noon approached, Marcus dropped by Tom's office. "Hey, Tom, ready for lunch? A few of us are heading to the cafeteria. It's a great way to meet the rest of the team." Tom looked up, grateful for the break. "Sounds good, Marcus. I could use some company after all this reading. They made their way to the cafeteria, where Tom was introduced to several colleagues, including Jay, an engineer who specialized in communication devices, and Eli, another linguist who had been at the company for a few years. The group chose a table, and as they settled in, the conversation quickly turned to Tom's role. "So, Tom, Lyra has high hopes for you," Eli commented, passing a tray of food to him. "She's been looking for someone who can tackle the Atraxian project with fresh eyes." Tom took a bite of his lunch, considering his words carefully. "I'm just hoping I can live up to those expectations. The Atraxians' use of metaphoric language is unlike anything I've tackled before." Jay chimed in, "It's tricky, but you'll find the tech we've developed helps a lot. Have you had a chance to use the real-time translator yet?" "Not yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in action," Tom replied, intrigued. "Maybe we can show you this afternoon," Jay suggested. "We've been tweaking it to handle more complex linguistic structures." The offer excited Tom. "I'd appreciate that. It would definitely give me a better handle on the practical side of things." Lunch passed with more technical discussions and personal anecdotes, giving Tom a sense of belonging. After they returned to their desks, Jay invited Tom to his lab. As they entered the lab, Tom was impressed by the array of devices and screens displaying alien scripts and languages. Jay handed him a headset. "This is our latest prototype. It's designed to interpret and translate Atraxian in real time. Want to give it a try?" Tom put on the headset, and Jay activated a simulation. Instantly, Tom heard and saw Atraxian phrases being translated into English, both auditory and visual translations appearing in real time. "This is incredible," Tom exclaimed, his voice filled with wonder. "Glad you think so," Jay grinned. "It takes some getting used to, but it's a game changer for field communications." As they discussed the technology, Tom noticed Lyra observing them from the doorway. She approached with a smile. "I see you're getting a first-hand look at our tools. Jay, how's the prototype holding up?" "It's performing well, Lyra. Tom just took it for a test drive," Jay reported. Lyra turned to Tom. "And? What do you think?" "It's more advanced than I expected. It makes the language almost intuitive," Tom replied, impressed by the seamless integration of technology and linguistics. Lyra nodded, pleased. "Good. I want you to use it in tomorrow's meeting with the Atraxian delegates. It'll be a good test under real conditions." Tom felt a jolt of excitement mixed with nervousness. "I'll be ready," he said, more to reassure himself than anyone else. "That's what I like to hear," Lyra responded with a confident nod. "See you in the meeting." As Lyra left, Tom turned to Jay. "Thanks for the crash course. I think I'm starting to understand just how innovative our work is here." "No problem," Jay smiled. "It's what we do." Walking back to his office, Tom felt a newfound confidence. Tomorrow would be his first real test, and thanks to his new colleagues, he felt as prepared as he could be. Tom arrived at the conference room early, headset in hand, ready to facilitate the meeting with the Atraxian delegates. The air was charged with a quiet tension as the rest of the team trickled in. Jay and Eli joined him, setting up the necessary equipment. "Feeling ready for this?" Eli asked, giving Tom a supportive clap on the shoulder. "As ready as I can be," Tom replied, adjusting the headset. "Thanks to your crash course yesterday," Jay grinned, checking the connections on the translation devices. "These Atraxians won't know what hit them. You're going to do great." The doors slid open, and Lyra entered, followed by 3 Atraxians. Their towering figures were draped in flowing garments, and their faces were stoic, almost unreadable. Lyra introduced Tom formally, and with a nod, the meeting began. Tom initiated the translation software as the first delegate spoke. The Atraxians' complex, metaphorical language filled the room, translated into English in Tom's ear. He relayed the information smoothly, facilitating a dialogue that grew increasingly dynamic. After several hours of intense discussion, the delegates paused for a break. Lyra motioned for Tom to follow her out of the room. "You've handled yourself exceptionally well, Tom," Lyra commended as they stepped into her office. "I'm impressed with how quickly you've adapted." Tom smiled, relieved. "Thank you, Lyra. It's fascinating work, and I'm glad the translation is holding up." Lyra walked over to the window, her gaze distant. There's something I need to discuss with you, unrelated to today's meeting. She turned to face him, her expression serious. It's about my behavior towards you. Tom felt a surge of uncertainty. Is there something wrong? Lyra paused, searching for the right words. Tom, I must explain something about Zalithian culture. We are much more direct in expressing our feelings, and it seems I may have been too forward with you. Tom processed her words, recalling the lingering looks and touches. I've noticed, but I wasn't sure how to interpret them. Lyra sighed, a hint of color rising in her normally pale blue cheeks. It's my mating season, and it seems I've taken a particular interest in you. She studied his reaction closely. I apologize if this makes you uncomfortable. I should have been more professional. Tom took a moment to collect his thoughts. I appreciate your honesty, Lyra. It's a lot to take in, but I'd rather know and understand your intentions. Lyra nodded, relief visible on her face. I value you as a team member, Tom, and I wouldn't want to jeopardize our working relationship or your comfort here. Tom considered her words, his initial shock giving way to a complex mix of curiosity and intrigue about the implications of her revelation. Thank you for being upfront. Let's just see how things go. I'm committed to my work here, and I respect you as my boss. Lyra smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes. Thank you, Tom. Let's return to the meeting. We have a lot to accomplish. As they walked back to the conference room, Tom felt a newfound understanding of Lyra. The rest of the meeting passed in a blur of translations and negotiations, but a new undercurrent of personal awareness flowed between him and Lyra. Later, as he recounted the day's events to Jay and Eli over drinks, he shared his mixed feelings. It's strange, knowing how she feels, but it also explains a lot. Eli raised his glass. To new experiences and interstellar diplomacy? Jay laughed, clinking glasses. And to navigating the complexities of alien mating seasons without a manual. Tom chuckled, grateful for the camaraderie. Cheers to that, he agreed, feeling more at ease with the situation, ready to face whatever challenges and revelations might come next. The project with the Atraxian delegates was moving forward smoothly, bolstered by the successful communication protocols Tom had helped implement. As the weeks progressed, his relationship with Lyra evolved into a respectful professional rapport, peppered with an undercurrent of mutual curiosity about each other's cultures. One evening, after a particularly long day of back-to-back meetings, Tom was packing up his things when Lyra approached him. Tom, would you be interested in joining me for dinner tonight? There's a new restaurant I've been meaning to try, and I'd appreciate your company. Surprised, Tom hesitated for a moment. Sure, Lyra. That sounds great. I could use a change of scenery. At the restaurant, a cozy place renowned for its fusion of Earth and alien cuisines, Lyra and Tom shared dishes from both of their worlds. As they ate, Lyra seemed more relaxed outside the office environment. I've been meaning to ask, Tom began, curious about her life on Zaltar. What was it like growing up there? Lyra smiled, a hint of nostalgia in her eyes. Zaltar is very different from Earth. Our cities are built around the natural landscape, not over it. We believe in living in harmony with our planet. What about you? What was it like in your hometown? Tom shared stories of his childhood in the Midwest, his family, and how he became interested in languages. The conversation drifted to hobbies, dreams, and eventually, to the stars. Have you ever seen the cosmos through a Zalithian telescope? Lyra asked suddenly. The perspectives are quite unique. I can't say I have, Tom admitted. Then you must, Lyra insisted. Come, let's go now. They left the restaurant and headed to a nearby observatory that Lyra had access to. Inside, she adjusted the settings of a large, sophisticated telescope to view the universe as seen from Zaltar. The stars and galaxies displayed were breathtakingly different, with colors more vibrant and formations unfamiliar to the human eye. This is incredible, Lyra. It's like looking at a whole new sky, Tom said in awe. It reminds me of home, Lyra confessed, her voice soft. Showing this to you. It feels right. They spent hours at the observatory, Lyra explaining the celestial phenomena of her galaxy. As the night deepened, their conversation became more personal. Lyra spoke of her journey to Earth, her fears and hopes, and Tom listened, realizing how much he had come to respect and admire her. Eventually, Lyra turned to face him. Tom, I want to thank you for being so open-minded, for trying to understand me, even when things got a bit complicated. Tom smiled. Lyra, getting to know you has been one of the highlights of this job. I'm glad we had this night. As they stood close, looking up at the simulated Zalithian sky, Lyra reached out to gently hold his hand. The touch was light, but it sent a warm pulse through Tom. He looked at her, her eyes reflecting the starlight, and without really deciding to, he leaned in and kissed her. The kiss was a question, and her returning kiss was an answer. They broke apart after a moment, slightly breathless. This is new territory for me, Lyra, Tom admitted, his voice low. Me too, Lyra whispered. But perhaps it's worth exploring. They left the observatory hand in hand, the stars above silently witnessing the new bond forming between them. As they walked back to their separate homes, the possibilities of what lay ahead seemed as vast and inviting as the universe through a Zalithian lens. The kiss under the simulated stars had opened a new chapter in Tom and Lyra's relationship. As they navigated their feelings alongside their professional roles, Tom found himself looking forward to each day with renewed enthusiasm. The complexity of their situation wasn't lost on him, but the connection they shared felt worth exploring. One Friday, as they wrapped up a particularly successful session with the Atraxian delegates, Lyra suggested they take the evening off and visit a local botanical garden that was hosting a night exhibit. Tom agreed eagerly, curious to see more of the world through Lyra's eyes. The garden was illuminated by soft lights that mimicked the bioluminescence of alien flora, creating an ethereal atmosphere. As they walked through the paths, Lyra pointed out earth plants that had similar counterparts on Zaltar. It's fascinating, Tom said, examining a glowing flower. Your planet must be beautiful. It is, Lyra agreed, much like Earth in some ways, but wildly different in others. I sometimes miss it, the vibrance of our nature. Tom glanced at her, touched by her vulnerability. I'm glad you're here, though. Lyra smiled at him, her hand brushing his as they walked. So am I. Their conversation drifted to lighter topics, favorite foods, music, art, each revelation bringing them closer. As they reached a secluded bench, they sat down, enjoying the night air filled with the scent of exotic flowers. Tom turned to Lyra, his tone hesitant. Lyra, about the other night at the observatory, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Lyra met his gaze, her expression tender. Neither have I, Tom. It was a moment I cherished. Encouraged, Tom reached for her hand. What does this mean for us? I mean, we work together and you're, well, not human. Lyra squeezed his hand, thoughtful. I know it's complicated. We're from different worlds, literally. But I feel something strong and genuine with you. Maybe we don't need to define everything just yet. Just let it be? Tom suggested, and Lyra nodded. Yes, let's just enjoy these moments we have, without worrying too much about the labels or implications. They continued their walk, sharing stories and laughs, the tension easing into comfortable companionship. Eventually, they found themselves at a part of the garden designed to mimic a Zaltorian meadow. Soft blue and purple lights flickered around them, simulating Zaltorian fireflies. Lyra watched Tom's enchanted reaction and decided to share more about her culture. She described traditional Zaltorian festivals, which were celebrated under the night sky with music and dance meant to echo the movements of the universe. Would you show me one of the dances? Tom asked, intrigued. Lyra hesitated, then laughed softly. Why not? She stood and held out her hands to Tom, guiding him through a slow, graceful dance that mimicked the orbit of planets. The music from the garden speakers lent a surreal quality to the scene as they moved together, their bodies syncing rhythmically. As the song ended, they stopped, still holding each other, caught up in the moment. Tom looked down into Lyra's eyes, illuminated by the glow of the garden lights, and felt a profound connection. This is nice, he murmured, and Lyra nodded, her face inches from his. It is, she whispered back, and they leaned in, sharing another kiss, this one longer, filled with the promise of more to come. The garden around them seemed to hold its breath, the night pausing as they embraced under the simulated stars, allowing themselves to be swept up in the possibility of a love that crossed the stars. Tom's understanding of his relationship with Lyra had deepened over the weeks. Their connection, initially professional and then curiously personal, now simmered with a mix of affection and unspoken questions about the future. It was on a cool, clear evening that Lyra invited Tom to her apartment for dinner, a gesture that felt like a natural next step in their evolving relationship. Upon arriving, Tom found Lyra's place to be a reflection of her, elegant, with touches of her home planet. Zoltorian artifacts adorned the shelves, and a soft, ambient melody played in the background, a tune from her world. "Welcome, Tom," Lyra greeted him warmly, taking his coat. "I hope you're hungry." "I am, thanks," Tom replied, his eyes taking in the surroundings. "Your place is, it's really you," Lyra smiled, leading him to the dining area where a variety of dishes were laid out. "I tried to blend a bit of earth and Zoltar tonight. I hope it tastes as good as it smells." As they ate, their conversation flowed easily from work to personal interests, each topic revealing new layers of their personalities and backgrounds. After dinner, Lyra suggested they move to the balcony, where they could see the city lights stretching out below them. With glasses of wine, they settled into the comfortable chairs, the cityscape a glittering backdrop to their intimate setting. Tom took a sip of his wine, then turned to Lyra, his expression thoughtful. "Lyra, these past weeks have been incredible. I've never felt anything quite like this before." Lyra set her glass down, her gaze meeting his. "Neither have I, Tom. It's been a journey of discovery, not just about each other, but about ourselves." "Yeah," Tom agreed, pausing to choose his words. "And the more I learn about you, the more I want to be with you. But I'm also aware of the challenges we might face." Lyra nodded, her hand reaching out to gently touch his. "I know. Being from different species, the cultural and biological differences, it's daunting, but not impossible?" Tom asked, a hint of hope in his voice. "Not impossible," Lyra confirmed softly. "It's about what we're willing to face together." They fell into a thoughtful silence, each contemplating the potential and pitfalls of a deeper relationship. Finally, Tom spoke up, his voice steady. "I want to try, Lyra. No matter what comes, I want to be with you." Lyra's face lit up with a smile, her relief evident. "I feel the same, Tom. Let's take this one step at a time together." Encouraged by her words, Tom leaned closer, and they shared a kiss, more profound and assured than any before. After a moment, Lyra stood and extended her hand to him. "Come with me." She led him back inside to her living room, where she had set up a small, cozy area with cushions on the floor. Soft lights and the gentle music created a warm, inviting space. "This is a traditional Zoltorian relaxation space," Lyra explained. "It's designed for deep connection and conversation. A place where we can be ourselves, completely and honestly." Tom nodded, touched by her thoughtfulness. They settled onto the cushions, and as the evening deepened, they continued to talk about their hopes and fears, their dreams for the future, and the reality of their feelings for each other. As the night wore on, their conversation gradually ceased, and they simply enjoyed the comfort of each other's presence, allowing their newfound love and commitment to be the only words they needed. In this quiet sanctuary, Tom and Lyra crossed a new threshold, not just in their relationship, but in their lives, embracing a future they would shape together, whatever it might hold. As Lyra's mating season reached its peak, their relationship had naturally deepened. Their evenings together became a blend of Earth and Zoltorian cultures, a mix of familiar and exotic, comforting and thrilling. One particular evening stood out as a milestone. Lyra had invited Tom to her apartment for a special dinner that she promised would be unforgettable. When Tom arrived, he found the apartment transformed. Soft lights cast a warm glow, and the air was filled with the scent of Zoltorian spices. Lyra greeted him at the door, her smile radiant. "Tom, I'm glad you're here," she said, leading him into the dining area. "Tonight is special for Zolithians. It's the zenith of our mating season, a time of heightened emotions and connections." Tom, carrying a bottle of wine, handed it to her. "I thought we might add a little Earth tradition to the mix," he said with a grin. Perfect, Lyra replied, accepting the bottle. It will complement the meal beautifully. Dinner was a lavish affair, with dishes that were both a feast for the eyes and a delight to the palate. As they ate, Lyra explained the significance of each dish, many of which were traditionally prepared during the mating season to enhance emotional and physical bonds. After dinner, Lyra took Tom's hand and led him to the living room where soft music filled the space. Dancing is a big part of tonight's tradition on Zoltar, she explained. It's more than just movement. It's about connection, about sharing your rhythm with someone else. They danced slowly, the music a soothing backdrop to their synchronized movements. Lyra's eyes never left Tom's, and he found himself lost in the depth of her gaze, moved by the emotions that danced within. As the song ended, Lyra whispered, "There's another part of the tradition, one that's more intimate." She paused, searching his face for any sign of hesitation. It involves expressing our feelings physically, celebrating the connection we've built. Tom, feeling a surge of love and desire, nodded. I want to be part of all your traditions, Lyra. With a gentle smile, Lyra led him to her bedroom, where candles flickered softly. The room was imbued with a serene ambience, inviting and intimate. Lyra turned to Tom, her hands reaching up to frame his face. Being with you has been a journey I never expected, but one I cherish deeply. Their kiss was slow and full of the emotions that had been simmering throughout the evening. As they deepened the kiss, their hands explored, gentle and reverent. Lyra's touch was confident, guiding their movements as they navigated this new intimacy. Tom was attentive, responding to her cues with a tenderness that spoke of his deep feelings for her. As they made love, there was a sense of discovery and affirmation. Lyra trembled with pleasure, her breaths mingling with Tom's in a rhythm that matched their earlier dance. The connection they felt was palpable, transcending their differences, binding them closer than ever. Later, lying together in the afterglow, Lyra traced patterns on Tom's chest. Tonight was about sharing who I am with you, Tom. It's about trust and love. Tom kissed her forehead. I feel incredibly lucky, Lyra, to be with you, to share these moments. It's more than I could have hoped for. As they drifted off to sleep, wrapped in each other's arms, the night whispered around them, a gentle affirmation of the love and connection they had deepened. An interstellar bond that felt as natural and inevitable as the stars themselves. The weeks following the peak of Lyra's mating season felt like a serene journey back to Earth, where their deepened relationship now thrived on a profound understanding and mutual respect. Both Tom and Lyra had begun to embrace the realities of their interspecies relationship, exploring how they could weave their lives together amidst their demanding careers. One crisp Saturday morning, they decided to visit a local art exhibit featuring interstellar cultures, eager to enjoy a shared interest in the arts and to find inspiration in the fusion of different worldviews. As they walked through the exhibit, Lyra pointed to a series of paintings that depicted Zoltarian landscapes. "This one here reminds me of home," she said, her voice tinged with nostalgia. "The way the artist captured the light is exactly how it illuminates our mountains." Tom studied the painting, appreciating the alien beauty through Lyra's eyes. "It's beautiful," he replied. "I can see why you miss it." They continued to explore the exhibit, discussing each piece and what it evoked about the artist's perspective on life in the galaxy. It was during these moments that Tom realized how much they had grown as a couple, seamlessly integrating their lives and interests. After the exhibit, they found a quiet cafe nearby and sat down with cups of coffee. Tom took Lyra's hand across the table, a comfortable silence settling between them. "Lyra," Tom finally said, "I've been thinking a lot about us, about how we've managed to navigate everything that's come our way." Lyra smiled, squeezing his hand. "I've been thinking about that too. It's not always been easy, but somehow it feels right. We work well together." "Yeah, we do," Tom agreed. "And I want us to continue, to see where this can go. Not just during the high moments, but through everything that normal life throws at us." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting her deep feelings. "I want that too, Tom. I think we've proven that we can handle the complexities of our relationship. And after the season has ended, I feel even more connected to you. So, What do you say we make this more permanent? Tom proposed gently. I mean, not just dinners and dates, but maybe finding a place together? Really making a go of it. Lyra's face lit up with joy. I was hoping you'd say that. Yes, let's do it. Let's blend our worlds just like those artists blended their visions. As they left the cafe, hand in hand, they discussed potential places to live, considering both human and Zaltorian needs. They laughed and planned, the conversation flowing as easily as it had from their first meeting. In the following weeks, they found a spacious apartment that served their needs, decorating it with elements from both Earth and Zaltar. It became a symbol of their commitment to each other, a space where they could grow individually and as a couple. One evening, as they stood on their new balcony overlooking the city, Tom wrapped his arms around Lyra. I never imagined life could bring me here, he murmured. Lyra leaned back into his embrace, watching the stars emerge in the twilight sky. Neither did I, Tom, but I'm grateful every day that it did. Their shared laughter echoed softly as the sky darkened, the stars shining brightly above, a cosmic testament to the unexpected journey that love could navigate, transcending worlds and bringing together two souls meant to find each other.